Welcome to the Stronger Marriage Podcast with Trey and Lee.
Hey guys, we're glad you joined us today.
Thank you for joining us from Lubbock, Texas, where you can watch your dog blow away for 3 days.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Hey, thanks for checking on us. We had a couple of people check on us to make sure we were still alive because it's been a minute since we've been on, but life.
Life and laryngitis.
Had a little bit of laryngitis. It's kind of hard to do a podcast when you can't talk.
That is right. So thanks for being patient with us. We're excited about today's podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences between husbands and wives and just the fact that husbands and wives are very, very different.
Yes, male and female is very different. You may have personalities that are very different. We do. We're like night and day.
I really think that God, believe it or not, probably designed people to be attracted to someone opposite than you. Because I think, we'll talk about it in a little while, I think if we married someone just like us, it might drive us crazy. I don't know. But
I don't know.
Yeah, you probably would. I'm over here going, it would drive me crazy. You're over here going, I would like that.
I mean, our whole podcast, you've got don't fight against it, don't criticize it, don't. So I think there could potentially be less problems if you were more alike, but being different is not a bad thing. It can actually be a good thing if you don't fight against it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some of those because I think even if you married someone just like you could have some problems in other areas that maybe opposites don't. And so we met as teenagers, very young. We married very young. We were youth group sweethearts. We dated for 4 years and then got married. I was ahead of you a couple of years when you were right out of high school. And I think the first year of marriage was kind of a sticker shock. We knew that we were different, but when we started living together.
Yeah, we'd never lived together on a daily basis to really put that to the test. So, yeah.
There was just there was a little bit of, whoa, what have I got into? And part of it was immaturity. We were very young. I was very young. I remember one of the first, it wasn't a fight. It was just kind of one of those things that we did different. But I even remember one time asking you, why do you have the glasses in the kitchen on the right-hand side of the sink or something like that? And you said, because that's where I grew up keeping it. And I said, well, I've always had it on the left-hand side. I don't remember what it was. But it just not only personalities, but sometimes from your parents and the family you grew up in, you do things very, very different.
Yeah, because you go into marriage expecting things to look somewhat like they looked in your home growing up. Some of you grew up in homes where you said, my family will not look anything like this home that I grew up in.
You are a product of the family you grew up in, you or your spouse. And so what you saw was kind of what you expected marriage to be like. If you grew up in a home that was very traditional, that's what you expected. If you grew up in a home where dad did all the cooking, maybe that's what you expected. But you've had to adapt with your spouse, and that is not always easy to do. We've been married 35 years. We have 4 children, 2 daughter-in-laws, 2 grandbabies. We're still very different. Although we're very similar in so many ways, there's still a lot of ways that we're very different. They're not bad ways. There are definitely some, if you're engaged or dating someone and there are some differences that deal with faith or children or anger, there's some red flags out there that it's just kind of like, whoa, you need to back up and rethink this marriage thing. But the things we're very different on are things that we can work through, much like it's going to be in your marriage.
Sure.
And so it's okay to be different. It's just trying to figure out how to balance those differences sometimes.
Yeah. So we like you said, we did have a lot of similarities. We're the same ethnicity. That can be an issue for some couples. We had the same kind of socioeconomic background growing up. We
Glad you
we
didn't
had
ask
the
me to say that word.
we had the same religion. I mean, that can be a huge issue
Sure.
for some couples if you don't. We had the same, pretty similar educational backgrounds. So those are the kind of things that, when you go into marriage with those kind of some biggies like that are the same, that kind of makes some things a little bit easier. When you go into marriage with some differences in some of those areas, those are some things that can really cause some issues. Those are some things that you're going to have to make some big compromises on probably down the line that you need to talk about before going into marriage, hopefully.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's why dating engagements are very important. We're not saying a couple that meets and 3 months later gets married can't make it, but it's much, much harder when there's not an engagement or a long period of dating where you can actually get to know the person that you're gonna marry.
Yes.
And so that's why we encourage, hey, date while you're dating. Have some time in there for know what you're getting into before you just jump into it. And so be cautious with that. So here are a few things. We do some of these in our marriage workshose, but
These are, differences that probably have to do with our personalities,
Sure.
that have to do with our likes, dislikes. These are things that can be worked through.
Yeah, but
so
these
to
are some
speak.
of our differences
Yes.
that we kind of have in 35 years butt heads against. Lee is a saver and I am the spender. Now, I think over time in 35 years, we've kind of both leveled off to be kind of the same, but I've always been the one that is willing to open the checkbook and go, hey, let's spend some money. But and it may just depend on what the item is somewhere in there. Lee may buy 3 pairs of $12 shoes at Payless, and I'll buy a $300 pair of boots.
Exactly. But I'm going to make sure that all of the upfront obligations are met before we spend money on anything.
That's right.
So that's probably, maybe some of where we differed early in our marriage.
So we have learned to work through that. I'm a be on time person. I love to get wherever we're going. I want to be there at least 15 minutes early.
And I always say, well, if running late were an exercise, I would be really, really fit.
Yeah.
So I'm if I am there like on the dot, I feel like I did well, and it drives him crazy because he thinks that's late.
We're late. We needed to be there.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. I like colored Christmas lights at Christmas time.
And flashing ones.
Flashing ones. Let's party. Lee likes a real
I
classy.
just want the white lights. I don't want them to flash.
And you don't just want white lights. You want them a certain white.
I want the warm white. Don't give me that cool stuff that looks blue.
Yeah. See, I kind of like
Don't.
that. That's what I like.
No.
Yeah. So we're different. I'm an extrovert. I love to meet people. Meet people easy, become friends easy, comfortable in front of people, not so much with Lee.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of a struggle.
I'm an introvert. I'm content to pretty much stay home. I don't always have to go out and be doing things. I don't know, what's the term these days that people use? An extroverted introvert, is that it? I mean,
don't know. You're not severely introverted where you just don't want to leave the house and see people.
And I do speak in public. I mean, but that was something that I really kind of fought against at first. I didn't want to do that necessarily. It has become more comfortable over time, but it's still not my favorite thing to do. So
I hear you. Our playlists are different, very different.
Yes.
When we're in the car together, we would probably listen to different music.
We do.
And that's okay.
I enjoy pretty much everything you listen to, but if I were running the controls, it's not what I would probably pick.
There you go.
And vice versa.
And she's so patient because I drive just so I can have the radio.
That's
You
the
didn't
reason.
know that.
That's the reason. I'm just thinking
I
you
want
just
the radio.
You want to drive because you want to control the car, but
That's
it's
exactly
you just
right.
want to control the radio. Okay,
That's right.
it.
Yeah, you've learned something new
Yeah.
about me. Yeah.
I'm a reader.
Yeah.
I've always got a book going. Usually, a fiction and a nonfiction at the same time. Trey's not so much. You read some study books. You know.
I like to read, and every time I do take time to read a book, I'm always like, "This was so good. I got to do this again." and then it's like, I don't want to invest this much time in a book this big. And so Lee loves to read, me not so much. I would not classify myself as a big reader.
I'll read the book, and then I say, okay, you can go watch the movie
There
with
you
me
go.
when they
And
make
then
it into a
then I
movie.
pause it and go, what's going on here? So
Yeah.
I'm outdoorsy.
I actually have a T-shirt that says "Indoorsy" on it.
So I love outdoors. I like outdoors, and Lee's kind of indoors.
I like it outdoors if the conditions are perfect, which is pretty few and far between. But I'm pretty comfortable eating lunch alone. Like if I have to go out and run errands, and or we're in a different town and you're tied up with whatever meetings or something, and I'm just sort of on my own. I'm okay sitting down at a table and eating lunch by myself.
I hate it. Literally,
You'll go through a drive-up and sit
I
in the
will
parking lot.
sit in my car before I will go in and eat by myself. And if I have to do that, I'm going to make friends with somebody and join them
And
at their
just
table.
talk, yeah.
And I have a friend named Jeff Foster who is an introvert, and he says his favorite meals are eating alone. And I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm not sure that's my favorite meals.
He
but
says, I love having
I'm
a
not
meal
bothered
alone.
by it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
hate it.
bothered.
I don't want it. Yeah.
And I don't, and I probably won't go sit down at a restaurant and have to order off of a menu. It's probably going to be like, a fast food restaurant where it's not going to take a whole lot of time, but I'm okay doing that.
Yeah. I like my tea sweet.
I drink mine unsweet,
I like my coffee black.
and I put milk in my coffee.
I like breakfast cereal in a really, really big bowl.
Well, yeah, we're
with
talking
a really, really big.
Serving spoon. He uses all my serving spoons.
No, I get frustrated because you serve food out of my cereal spoons, and then they're dirty when I want to have a bowl of cereal.
Yeah. I kind of like my cereal. This is another difference. I like mine to stay crunchy. And so I tend to eat it out of a smaller bowl than him because like his cereal gets super soggy by the time he's
like it
through.
soggy.
And he likes it that way. So yeah.
Yeah.
I like all the details, and he
Doesn't so
really
much.
doesn't.
Yeah, don't give me all them details.
Yeah.
Just tell me what I need to know. Let's go.
Just today, he said, "Are those new pants?" And I kind of told him way more details. He said, "All I wanted to know was, are those new pants?"
Yeah, I was looking for a yes or no.
A yes or
I
no
got a whole
answer.
story. Just the difference between us. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Sometimes Lee wants me just to listen, and sometimes I'm the one that wants to fix it.
And I pretty much think that's probably a man-woman difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy getting up early. I love 5:30, 5:45 in the morning it's like my favorite time of the day. It is.
It's torture.
You didn't even know 5:30 came twice a day.
It's torture. That's torture.
I love mornings.
No. And then when I wake up, I don't want to have to just pop right out of bed. I want to just...
Yeah, I don't get that.
I just want to wake up
I don't
for
get
a few
that.
minutes.
It's like my eyes open, I look at the clock, let's get up. I don't set an alarm, I just wake up, and I don't want to lay there.
That's wasting time,
That's
right?
wasting time. I got things to do. I'm the touchy one in our relationship.
that's kind of one of your love languages.
I like the cuddling, the touching, the holding hands, that sort of thing.
I'm thinking, there's a time and place, but it's like sometimes it's like, would you just stop touching me now?
That's it. Yeah. Difference between us.
Yeah. Shopping, I'm going to compare prices. I'm going to read the labels. I'm going to use coupons, look for sales, all that kind of stuff. If I'm shopping for clothes, of course, I'm going to try everything on before I buy something. Don't be silly.
I'm just going to grab me 2 or 3 shirts and,
And
let's
go.
roll. Let's roll.
We won't talk about how many things you have to return.
Take some stuff back. Yeah.
The toilet paper in our house, it's got to go over the roll, and if somebody ever changes it besides me and puts it on upside down, I'm gonna fix it.
And I actually always joke that I actually didn't know there was a right way to put toilet paper on a roll until I got married. I just was thankful when I was a kid if I showed up and it was there.
Yeah,
that's when I was excited. So we have lots of differences. You have lots of differences in your marriage. So let's come up with 3 or 4 little tips that can help us work through some of these differences. And number one would be, don't try and fix your spouse to be more like you. They're not a project.
Sure.
Maybe the worst thing we did in the first year of our marriage was, I thought, hey, if she'd just get out and meet people and have fun, her life would be a whole lot more exciting. I thought I would fix her.
Yes.
And that was not what she needed. She needed me to love her for how God created her to be.
And there are some things, like introvert, extrovert. That's not anything. You can't fix me to not be an introvert. I am an introvert. But I can agree to go out sometimes when maybe I would just as soon stay home. Those are some things you can kind of compromise here and there. The being on time thing, that's I'm probably always going to struggle to run a little bit behind, but I can work on that. That there's some things that you can work on.
Right.
But
there are some things that you can adapt to.
I'm never going to want to eat soggy cereal, so that's.
But I mean, what we're talking about is we're not talking about if your spouse has a short temper. Yeah, maybe you do need to try to help fix your spouse.
Yes.
And so there are some things.
We all have some weaknesses
we're talking
we need to
about
work
some
on.
Personality, just differences in our personality where it's not my job to go, if you would just get up at 5:30 in the morning for a week, you would like this.
I wouldn't. I promise you I would not.
There you go.
So those are the things you just don't harp on your spouse about. You can't.
That's right.
You can't fix those kinds of things.
So try not to make them more like you. Now, if you're listening to this, we do think, and we'll talk about it a little bit, it's good to try things your spouse likes because that's really important. And so maybe your spouse has been encouraging you to read a book and read the book. Maybe your spouse has been encouraging you to go to the gym with them. Go to the gym with them. And so there are some things that you should try to do. You shouldn't just go, hey, I'm different from you and I don't ever want to be like you.
Exactly.
Because it's important that we cultivate that friendship in there to where we begin to find some similar interests that we can like together. Because even early in our marriage, we didn't have a lot of common things that we both did like to do. And we've had to learn in 35 years of marriage I like things you do and you like some things that I like to do. And there are a few things that we do on our own, and so that takes a little time. But don't just sit there and one, don't try to fix your spouse, and two, don't just push off and go, don't try to change me. There may be some flaws that you need to work on, but that's the difference.
Yes. Try to see things from your spouse's viewpoint. If it's important to them, it should be important to me. So, you getting up at 5:30 in the morning, I understand why you like to do that. And I'm not going to say, sometimes you wake me up when you get up that early or what. I'm not going to complain about that because I know that that's important to you. And so that's okay.
So try to see things from your spouse's viewpoint. It is okay that your spouse is different from you. There's not anything wrong with that. The fact that Lee likes to stay up late and read, that's okay. The fact that she's indoorsy instead of outdoorsy, that's okay. And so, but try to understand why that is. You don't have to just, blow it off. If it's important to them, it should be important to you. So basically what I guess we're trying to say here is if your spouse is saying, hey, this is really important to me, would you try it? You could at least try it.
Yeah. And I feel like I do plenty of outdoorsy things.
And you tried running with me at one time.
We like to walk, we like to hike, we like to, when we go visit new places, we do lots of exploring, the city where we're at. And so that's fun. I'd rather
that your spouse is different.
rather do that than just sit around indoors. So
that's exactly right. So accept some differences. Don't fight against them. Don't wish they weren't there because you married the person that you married. And so I can't come along and go in 35 years that I don't know why you're this way. I mean, you've been this way for 35 years.
Yeah.
And so we have to accept the fact that we are different, and that's okay. And I'm not going to emotionally or verbally rough you up or vice versa just because we are different.
Right. That's what you have on the next point here is don't judge. Don't judge your spouse for being different. Don't criticize them. Don't say,
you drive me nuts.
I hate that you're always late. Whatever it is.
I can't say that. You're killing
Well,
me with
that is kind of a source of contention.
Yeah.
And I know but that is one of those things that, I try to do better at. But, maybe I hate that you get up early. Don't judge your spouse for doing something that they enjoy doing, and that is just part of who they are. Don't criticize them for that.
Mm-hmm. And again, we are not talking flaws. We are not talking personality flaws that are hard on your marriage.
Right.
Don't be the person that goes, when it comes to personality flaws like a short temper or verbally abusive or any of those things, to come along and go, hey, don't try to fix me. This is just who I am. No, you work on those
Or
flaws.
even negativity. We've talked about that. I mean,
dishonesty.
There are personality types that tend toward negativity, and that's one of those weaknesses, like being late, that you can work on and improve on. So those are things you should do.
Always communicate and share your perspective. Try to understand your partner's point of view. So, maybe explain, like we did today. We were probably a little frustrated when you said, I just told you everything. And I said, yeah, but I really was looking for kind of a yes or no answer. And so we kind of explained why we were butting our heads against the wall. And it was just because we were looking at it from two different viewpoints.
Yes.
And so communicate why maybe you're different, or share your perspective so your spouse will go, oh, I didn't realize that's what you were just, That's important.
It is.
One of the things that will help you immensely when you're different from your spouse is be intentional at growth in your marriage, meaning work to grow together. Try to find those common interests, read a marriage book, attend a marriage workshop,
listen to a marriage podcast.
There you go. Spend time together.
Yes.
You need to spend time together. What you don't want to do is grow apart. That's not healthy. And so we can be very different. We have so much fun together, and still be very different from one another. And so that is a very good thing. Cultivate that friendship. We already said that once, but that's what you've got to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Cultivate that friendship.
Because the last thing you want to do is like you said, just say, well, we're different and we don't spend that much time together because we have, we just do different things. That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. So you should, even though you're different, find those common interests and that common ground, and spend time together, cultivate your friendship. That's important.
All right, number 8, and this is the last one. I threw numbers out there. I'm a numbers guy. I like lists where I can check things off. That's important to me. The last one on our list, and this is really important, is see the blessings in being different. Meaning, it's interesting if you take a second to look at it, that the things that I don't do really well, the things that are kind of my weak spots, happen to be the things that you're very good at.
And vice versa.
And the things that you're not really good at, or maybe your weak spots, are kind of some of my wheelhouses. And so learn to play off of one another's strengths in life, of whatever it is. You're a team. And so, Lee, the organized detail person who is very comfortable taking care of stuff, she's the one that takes care of paying the bills and keeping the checkbook done and everything else, because I'm the guy that's like, I don't want the details, just tell me if we got a little money left, And so learn to play off one another's strengths. Sometimes Lee hands me a bill and goes, I don't know what this is. Can you call them? And because she's like, I don't want to talk to somebody. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. I'll do it. I get to meet somebody new. And so learn to play off your strengths in your marriage. Let the person who's better at something handle that whatever responsibility in your marriage. And so learn the blessings of being different. I'm really, really, really glad Lee is different than me in a lot of areas.
And I'm really, really, really glad that you're different from me in a lot of
because
areas.
We complete or make one, that two become one flesh. It's amazing when you work together as a team how that oneness really comes out to play.
Good stuff.
That was good stuff. Hope y'all enjoyed it as we talk a little bit about trying to figure out how to maneuver those differences. So we're leaving early in the morning for a trip. I think we need to be going to the airport by 8.
Oh, we've already talked about this. So we have to negotiate times
We do.
whenever we go anywhere.
Yeah, because I want to leave early. And Lee's like, what is the latest we can go and still get there in plenty of time?
Yeah.
And I get tickled because sometimes we'll get there and we'll go the time I wanted, and you're like, we're here.
And now we have to sit here for
30 minutes. And I'm like, at least I'm not stressing over being late for this flight.
I know.
But it's fun. Being married is fun. Enjoy it. Thank y'all for listening, and y'all have a great week. See y'all in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.